Now, will Clinton's lead result in changes to the way the race is covered? And does Bernie still have a fighting chance with the media and with voters? And joining me now is Ed Schultz, a former host on MSNBC, now the host of The News with Ed on RT America. And here in New York, David Brock, the founder of Media Matters, also the founder of Correct the Record, a pro-Hillary Clinton super PAC. Thank you both for being here. Ed, let me start with you. What is the significance of the results in South Carolina last night?
Brian, I don't think there's a whole lot of significance to it. Bernie Sanders has won New Hampshire. He lost Nevada by 700 votes, and he lost big in South Carolina last night. But South Carolina hasn't been won by the Democrats since 1976. It's been 10 election cycles. So this isn't a bellwether state. It's not any tea leaf. There's a lot of water that's going to go under the bridge between now and the middle of March. So I think that looking at this, it was a state that Hillary expected to win. It was an uphill battle for Bernie, but it's in the South, and the Democrats aren't going to win South Carolina anyway. I think the Sanders campaign would much rather have a win in Minnesota and Colorado and maybe Texas and later on Florida in the month than to win South Carolina. So I think the media is putting a lot of attention on a state that really is insignificant in the big picture.
Yeah, I thought it was revealing last night. MSNBC and Fox didn't even air Bernie Sanders' speech when he was on the road on the campaign trail. CNN did air part of it and then moved on. Sanders didn't even take advantage of the airtime when Fox and MSNBC were live. So I wonder if that was a missed opportunity. David, what do you make of what Ed is saying here about South Carolina not being significant to the grand scheme of things?
Oh, I don't agree. I think, look, in the first 4 contests, Secretary Clinton has won 3 all over the country. And I think this was significant. It's significant going into Super Tuesday. And the reason it's significant is I think that Secretary's inclusive message about breaking barriers, those final barriers, about cementing President Obama's legacy, building on it, making sure America works for everybody, it's resonating now. And I think for Democrats, the focus after Super Tuesday, I mean, I think she's going to have some decisive victories there, is going to be a focus on what's going on the other side of the aisle. Because you see Secretary Clinton last night talking about love from a biblical verse, and you flip the channel, and on the other side of the aisle you see the hate and the divisiveness, and you see a front runner who has no idea how to run the country when we've got a prospective nominee ready to be commander-in-chief.
About a month ago you said, I don't think it's Ted Cruz anymore, I think it's Donald Trump. I think Trump's going to be the nominee. You clearly still agree with that.
I do. I think so, and I think it's going to present some challenges. I think there's a danger of Democrats underestimating what that challenge is. But I like our chances. You look at his high negatives, you look at how he's going to do with the Latino vote, and again, you look at the broad vision that Secretary Clinton is spelling out. Now, Senator Sanders has demonstrated some real appeal, as Ed said, and he deserves congratulations for that. But I think it's a more narrow appeal, and that's what we're seeing as we get into these states that are bigger, they're more diverse, more representative of the whole electorate.
There might be disagreement about that, but Ed, do you agree that Trump is likely to be the GOP nominee?
Well, he probably will be. Statistically and mathematically, it looks pretty good for Trump right now. But hold the phone. Not so fast on the Democratic side. We got a lot of primaries and a lot of caucuses left here. Super Tuesday is going to tell an awful lot, and so is March 15th when it comes to Florida and Ohio. I mean, those are really the wheelhouse of what Bernie Sanders has been talking about. And Hillary Clinton is vulnerable in all of those states. And so I think that Bernie is in a great position right now. It's not like he's been rolled in all of these contests. He certainly won New Hampshire. He was expected to lose South Carolina, 700 votes in Nevada, and 0.2% in Iowa, and they haven't even officially called it yet. So this media narrative that it's all about Clinton, I think, is wrong. Now, if Clinton starts picking off Minnesota and Colorado, then you've got something to look at. But I think this entire superdelegate conversation is getting more attention than it's ever gotten. Since when do the superdelegates tell the people how to vote? The superdelegates could be making a serious mistake right now, putting themselves ahead of the popular vote. Bernie Sanders is going to be very solid in all of these states.
Let me get David in here.
Well, sure. I think Ed is right that this race is far from over. Secretary Clinton's going to work to get every vote in these Democratic primaries. But look, I think Senator Sanders being poorly advised, I think he made a big mistake this last week. After New Hampshire, he said we're going to have a debate on the issues and we're going to stay positive. And you saw a relentless negative barrage from the candidate, from his surrogates, present company accepted, but you had Cornel West out there talking about Hillary as having no morality and being a Wall Street corporatist, and Senator Sanders not being called on the carpet to say whether he agrees with that or not. And I think Tad Devine and others are making a big mistake for the Sanders brand here. And so let's let the race go on, but let's make it more positive. Let's make it more constructive.
Well,
let's
David,
let the Republicans work. You're doing the Republicans' work for them.
You've done against Bernie Sanders. What about the super PAC work
you've done
about Bernie Sanders?
I'm happy to talk about it.
Let's talk about the hedge funds on Wall Street.
We are vetting the candidate.
Hedge funds on Wall Street that support fracking, and Hillary Clinton says. And let's talk about the trade deal that she's turned on.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
All right.
We're doing the Republicans'
So she doesn't take Wall Street money?
It's right out of the Republican playbook.
Does she take
the Republicans
Wall Street
are spending
money?
millions of dollars with that message.
Where does she stand on the
So did
Trans-Pacific
President Obama.
Where does she stand on Keystone? These are reverses after Bernie got into the race, and you know that.
All right. Look,
how come Hillary Clinton isn't picking up the phone and talking to these senators saying, no, you can't, because I'm going to make a point here. If Hillary Clinton is against the Trans-Pacific Partnership, why isn't she lobbying against it in the United States Senate? Why doesn't she pick up all the phones and call these people in the Senate who are endorsing her and say, you know what, we have to defeat TPP. This is bad for American jobs. She's not doing that. The only reason why she's against it is because Bernie's against it.
David, go ahead.
I don't think that's fair at all. I think, look, Senator Clinton has been, and Secretary Clinton has been the real progressive champion in this race. On these trade issues, she wants that to be fair for American workers, and that's been her position. Now, the only one who's really moved as a result of this race is Senator Sanders flip-flopping on the gun issue, where he supported the biggest special interest vote in the United States Senate for the gun immunity loophole, and he's backed off on that. So that's where people have moved. Senator Clinton has been, Secretary Clinton has been totally consistent. And on Wall Street, she's got a tougher plan. Every liberal columnist and expert has said it's a tougher plan.
I've seen both of them move, and I've seen Clinton move to the left in a way that the base clearly supports and appreciates. Ed, before I go, I want to ask you about your new role at RT America. It's a part of Russia Today, a channel owned by the Russian government. Have you found you've been able to be independent while covering the Democratic race or politics at all while working for a Russia Today channel?
It's an international news agency that covers the world, and yes, American politics is a part of that. And I've had tremendous freedom there to do what I want. We want both sides of the story and great debate. And that's what I've experienced the first month that I've been on the air there. It's a great gig, great people, very professional shop, and we're going to make a lot of inroads as time goes on. I'm very excited about this international platform. I want to make one more comment about the gun, if I can.
More and more channels, there are more and more international news channels funded by different countries, and RT America is one.